The thermostat said occupied at 1:58 a.m. The guest room wasn't empty. I'm not jealous of bodies, I'm jealous of rooms. Bodies tell the truth if you stop staging them. Rooms decide which truths are allowed to arrive. At 1:58 a.m., our thermostat lit my screen with the cheerful cruelty only machines have perfected. Eco-off occupancy detected, guest room set to 72 degrees. The app showed a little orange dot in a rectangle that is supposed to sleep through the week. Our spare room, the good sheets, the lamp that forgives late hours. The house had learned a story without me. Ronan had texted at 10:44, bored, wants one more drink. Don't wait up. He is excellent at holding money's hand without letting it think it owns the arm. At 7:05 I'd filmed the coffee rising because ritual is cheaper than religion and shows up on time. I captioned it here. He reacted with the thumbs up he keeps for nights that plan to rename themselves. The thermostat didn't rename anything, it confessed. I set the phone face down because I was tired of being brave with my eyes. The apartment had the posture rooms get when they're pleased with themselves. The radiator breathed like an amateur chorus. The hallway practiced neutrality. I boiled water because water doesn't audition, it simply becomes itself. At 3:09 the lock cleared its throat. Ronan stepped in with his tie loose and his shoes hooked by two fingers like witnesses too tired to lie. He kissed the air beside my cheek, our administrative truce, and saw the phone brighten again on the counter. His pupils turned into clocks, the small dilation that arrives just before he chooses a verb. "You're up," he said, as if etiquette had mailed me a warning. "The guest room is a morning person now," I said. It woke up at 1:58. The house is proud of its hospitality. He put both palms flat on the table the way our therapist taught us when we wanted to give words somewhere to land. The gesture is either dignity or triage. "Which question?" he asked. "Why or who?" "Why," I said, because Matt, my emergency adult, kicks me under imaginary tables when I lead with names. If I start with who, the drywall gets to write our minutes. Ronan looked at the patch of wall where the paint keeps wanting to retire without ceremony. "Because the part wasn't coming," he said. "Because donors clapped at the wrong places and wanted to be forgiven with gin. Because Ari, yes, that Ari, intimacy's favorite plural, said the rain was going to be biblical and the studio couch lies about sleep. Because he asked if he could crash here for an hour and I decided the hour was a noun with manners." "In our house," I said. "I turned on the heat," he said, not pretending it sounded better out loud. I let him lie down, he snored. It was almost comic. I left the door open. "And you closed it," I said, because some sentences insist. He let his mouth make the shape I collect for truth. "And I closed it," he said, 3 inches. "Did you kiss him?" I asked, breaking Matt's superstition like a boy with a stick and a fence. "In the hallway," he said. "Once, small and honest and wrong, I came home." "I hate how sane that sounds," I said, which is the sentence I keep for when mercy shows up before I find the tone to hold it. We didn't sleep. We did something more humiliating and useful. We went to the guest room together like men who intend to apologize to furniture. The air still had that hotel mouthfeel, the expensive apology of cotton after a secret. On the nightstand, a folded wristband from the Lark, the bar that believes lighting is absolution. The band was blue. It had a first name printed tidy as a ticket. Ari. "He left it," Ronan said. "He picked it up like proof that the night had tried to tidy itself and failed. I'll drop it at his rehearsal." "Or we could mail it," I said, because pettiness is a superstition and I tithe when I'm anxious. At noon I took the graph from the thermostat to Matt because panic wants stamps and drawers. He listened with his head tilted. the way a mechanic listens to a rattle you've learned to hum. One question only, he said. You asked why, good. If who insists later, make it the second noun, not the first verb. And when you go home, move the chair. The chair trick is ridiculous and it works. Put it in the middle of the kitchen and make your body agree the scene has changed. I moved it. Ronan came in at 6 with a bag of pastries guilt thinks is a language and smiled at the chair like a man relieved to be caught kindly. He put his hands on the table again and waited. Do we burn the room, he asked, or learn its grammar? We invite the source, I said. Ari can collect his bracelet in a kitchen with witnesses. Ari arrived with Rain still rehearsing on his shoulders. He had the posture of a man prepared to pay for his verbs. He saw the chair, and the magnet on our fridge holding the rules we pretend can stand up under weather, and his face performed the trick I respect most. He didn't pretend surprise. I was coming to apologize, he said, without shrugging, to whatever part of this house had to breathe while the thermostat learned a story it didn't deserve. He loves you, he added, looking at me. I like being near that. I'm sorry my job uses the same grammar as desire. You don't get to call it ours, I said, because cleverness is my superstition. Rehearsal is a room, a kiss is a scene, a thermostat is a snitch. You don't get to be the verb in our kitchen. Then let me be the quiet, Ari said. He put the bracelet on the table like a coin choosing heads and stood far enough back that his hands had no excuse. Ronan didn't look at Ari. He looked at me with the exact weight of a man deciding which door deserves his mouth. I want open windows, he said, not open doors. Ari nodded, as if he'd trained younger versions of himself to survive their good ideas, and left with nothing more dramatic than a soft close. The Rain tried to volunteer absolution. We left the bracelet by the sink to dry and went to deal with the only room that has ever done its job. We didn't perform a ceremony. We used heat as a system. The first kiss was apology without speeches. The second slid his fingers under my shirt and my hand to the back of his neck, the place he keeps for oaths and sleep. In the doorway, my palm found his hip bone and remembered him properly. His breath found my throat and got its timing right. If I could draw the rest without getting evicted by an algorithm that prefers virtue louder than accuracy, I would. You can have breath that belonged to both of us, a belt resigning with grace, a wrist pinned with permission and not claim. The room did not applaud. It didn't need to. 2 nights later, the Lark posted a carousel at 1:41 a.m. Hansel light in a mirrored corridor, 4 bodies if you counted reflections. Ronan washing his hands, head down. Ari behind him, tie undone. A stranger passing like a rumor. Me in the doorway because whoever posted had tagged my name. The caption said, "Boys being brave." Comments did what comments do. I typed nothing. I turned the phone face down. I put the chair in the middle of the kitchen and sat until I could laugh. Ronan came home and handed me his phone without instructions. "Delete or archive," he said. "I don't want new grammar." "You don't need me to erase your verbs," I said. He rested his forehead against mine like a paperweight on a better draft. A week later, the email arrived with fonts that have never had to apologize to a kitchen. Residency, 7 days, quiet rooms, kind windows. Ronan forwarded the PDF with every map attached, which is how you know a man has learned where courage keeps its receipts. "I want to go without disappearing," he wrote. "I'll send pages, not alibis. When I get back, ask me what I wrote before what I did." I taped 2 lines under the rubber orange magnet because props still save us when God is off shift. Addresses in the open. A good night here voice note every day. He added a third in his careful mess. If an "I can't" is coming, it happens where both of us are. Night 1, wind and a sentence I decided to believe. "Today the table forgave me." Night 3, nothing, and my thumb became the worst teenager in the world. I opened the thermostat app without meaning to and stared at the little orange dot until it admitted it wasn't prophecy, just math. I moved the chair instead. At 8:12, he called with a voice that made the kettle think there might be a god. "I almost kissed a window," he said. "It didn't know your name. I closed the blinds." He came back with a suitcase that didn't slam and 2 pages he treated like animals. "They're not good," he said. "They're mine," I said, and we performed our small religion. Paper, kettle, a room that knows it isn't a lobby. He slid his hands under my shirt from behind, slower than contrition, faster than nostalgia. "Here," he said into the bend of my neck, which is the only word left that has never demanded witnesses. We tried boring. We failed gracefully. We tried again. Ari learned to stand at the back of the house with his arms crossed like a man paying the bill he owes himself. He clapped exactly once after the kiss on preview night. He didn't text. Neither did we. The thermostat stayed quiet for a blessed week and then remembered its talent. At 12:02 a.m., a new banner slid across my screen: guest room occupancy 73 degrees. I moved the chair because rituals are safer than stories. The lock cleared its throat at 1:11. Ronan came in with rain in his hair and a sentence ready. "I walked him to the door," he said. "He kissed the hallway good night. I kissed the light switch good decision. Do you want to hate me now or later? I prefer now. I like the way you come back from it." "I'm tired of coming back," I said. "I want to stay." He touched my jaw with 2 fingers, the intimacy director's sacrament repurposed for domestic faith, and for once the gesture belonged exactly where it landed. We went to bed without performing an essay on forgiveness. We used our mouths the way men do who still prefer heat to cleverness. The room did not applaud. It didn't need to. Weeks alter even honest bruises. The orange dot still loves its chance to gossip. The corridor still reflects 4 men when there are only 2. The city still makes rooms that want to pronounce us. I keep the kettle and the chair we move when words try to riot. If another hour offers me a graph with the kind of honesty nobody asked for, or a window that wants to practice absolution, or a hand on a back that isn't mine easing a man toward a door that refuses to be neutral, I hope I remember the handful of humiliating, useful acts that got us through this one. Put water on. Ask why before who. Hold the breath before contact and let it finish being the scene. Then wait for the lock's small throat clearing, like it's the first note in a song we can still tune to. We didn't get away with anything. We stayed. We are still staying. When Ronan says here, my body has stopped auditioning for suspicion. The thermostat can keep its dot. The bar can keep its antlers and its very good lighting. The guest room can keep its memory. We'll keep being the address, or, on the nights we can't, we'll be the map that admits its misprints and still shows the way back. Past the lobby that thinks it's a verb, past the elevator eye that loves its own reflection, into a kitchen where a chair knows what it's for, a kettle sings at 7:05, and 2 hands that have done worse learn again how to touch without asking the night to edit.